Hey, everybody. Welcome to the FreeMind Podcast. It is Friday, February 9th. Today we have Keith Schare, founder of juicedeals.com. Really interesting interview today. Stay with it all the way through in the end. If you're into organizational structure, business systems, and the like, this is your episode. All right. Growing sales, building systems, follow through, simplicity. Talk to you soon. Let's check out Keith's story. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong finger. You're good. Hey, yeah, so we'll start out real quick. Just your name, your role, the business, and when you were founded.
Okay, my name is Keith Schare. I founded Schare and Associates, which our website is juicedeals.com. And I founded that in 1997 after being in the industry for 5 years prior. And it was just a hustle, and we got it going, and it's been going great.
Excellent. What kind of customers do you work with currently in the space?
Yeah, basically we buy and sell bulk food ingredients throughout the U.S. and Canada. We focus on frozen fruits, juice concentrates, fruit purees, but we'll do pretty much any type of food ingredient. And one of the avenues that we excel in is we help people liquidate inventories that they no longer need. So if a client has an extra truckload of strawberries that they no longer need, they're not making their jam anymore, etc., we'll come around and we'll buy that from them at way below market price, and we market it to our clients to help them save money.
Excellent, Keith. Yeah, that's a whole nother. We actually just had another liquidation, a wholesaler out a couple weeks ago in interviewing, and a lot of that is not utilized enough. I feel like sometimes a lot of people try to push through and fire sale at retail and try to like push something through their system of production and not realizing like if you got ahead of it and kind of pulled it out of the system and isolated it, you can save a lot more money in the long run, even though initially it doesn't look like it. When you look at the total economic impact, if you keep something sticking around in the warehouse, you can kind of getting it out of the system and into people like your hands is a lot better in the long term.
Yeah. Sometimes what do they say? Your first loss is your best loss. People also they compete against themselves if they start discounting things. So if they start selling to their customers at a lower price, those customers are going to start expecting that.
That's exactly it, and it's a lot. You see that a lot in the clearances and the fire sales and things like that, and specifically in the beverage spaces, you'll see those fire sale clearances and things. And it's as much as you can one or two items. But we were talking about mass scale and commercialization of things. The least brand mitigated risk that you can take, the better for any incidences. So tell me a little, Keith, about how you got into this. So 1997, you've been doing this for quite a while, and
Yeah.
how'd you get started? And give me the early days. Talk to me about when the idea went from a piece of paper on a cocktail napkin to I'm really doing this and filing paperwork.
Well, I mean, all business or ingenuity or production, it all depends on one thing. That's necessity level. If you need to make something happen, you do. A woman, a young mother might not be able to go up to a Volkswagen and lift it, but if her kid's foot was trapped under the Volkswagen, somehow she would have the necessity level to drop her consideration that she couldn't do it, and she'd do it, and she'd lift it, and the kid's foot would come loose. So that's where my company was started. I used to work for a trading company, a food trading company, back in the day, in 1992, and it was a wonderful company. And once the owner sold to a large conglomerate, it was run by a gentleman who did not do the right thing and ultimately wound up breaking federal law. So the feds walked in one day, and that was the start of the end of the company, which it was a shame because it was a wonderful company back then. So, I found myself sitting in my living room floor with my, boxes and so forth, and just wondering, what am I going to do? And I just started, I had a vacation planned, and I was on the vacation, and I started faxing customers from the front desk of the hotel I was at. And it really all came from necessity and making it all happen. And I drove the business from there.
Excellent. And when you started out, I mean, how did you start out just brokering with your own inventory, or did you do kind of, take us to how, I mean, everybody that's listening to this can think of immediately how you would broker and how you would distribute in today's world. But us older veterans in the thing got to tell how we did it in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we didn't really even have computers much back then. They were just getting started. Everything was on Rolodex and paper files. Yeah. So what was your question? I forgot.
It was just talking about when you got started building the business and when you're structuring it, whether it was you just immediately went into
Right.
a warehouse full of stuff, if you brokered,
no
touch broking, stuff like that.
Look, luckily I had some contacts, and I actually started off brokering for other companies that had inventories, and that actually went pretty well. And I was hooking up company A with company B and making a cut of the profit. The problem is that as the year went on or so forth, I found that my clients were starting to go direct to my suppliers. And although I maintained a good relationships with everyone, I saw a lot of my the stuff was evading me. I wasn't able to control it. So finally I decided to just, do this on my own and buy my own products and sell. And luckily, due to my, good name in the business, people were willing to give me credit, even though at the time I didn't really have any money to back it up. So that's how I got rolling. And, I appreciate those people.
Absolutely. And were you going to generate your clients? Were you aggressively on the phone at that point, or were you going door to door? How were you generating new customers to distribute your products to?
Yeah, we sell countrywide, so I definitely wasn't going door to door. Yeah, it was a combination of my own clients that, luckily, the company that I was working for let me out of my non-compete agreement because of all the problems that had gone on. And I contacted the people I knew, and yeah, I was on the phones every day. I mean, you're talking hustle. There's no other way to do it. And I don't think anything's changed today. You have to knock on doors. You have to call. You got to make, 20, 30, 40, 50 calls a day, getting a hold of people, making contacts. And the way it grew is really is a very simple story. It's communication. It's listening to the person, and it's being honest. There's no other way to do business unless you're honest, because eventually things will crash down. My philosophy is that we're all in this world together. And if I harm somebody, really, I'm harming myself. And that's the way it is. If I do something wrong to someone, it's going to come back and bite me. So I choose to do the right thing always. And that's why my business grew.
That's great. When you're going through for your services and stuff like that, what are your top 3 most popular services that you guys offer? You're doing I'm going to assume is the excess inventory one of your more.
Yeah, I mean, we half our business is regular goods. Half the business really is excess inventories, and the third half would be just other items that, anything that anybody's looking for in food, whether it be cocoa powder, citric acid. This is an extension of our line, and dried fruits, dried nuts. These are the things that, this is the third zone, I would say.
Yeah. And with businesses like yours, there's always these surprises that I find out. Tell me a category that's a customer of yours, not the brand or the company, a category I wouldn't expect that actually buys that buys the products from you. Not a food and beverage brand, not a CPG.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I never thought. I mean, I'll tell you, the world of breweries has really taken off.
That's one that 5 years ago that would be a question I would ask, and I wouldn't expect brewery as well, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something that I've seen a significant growth in, and unfortunately, I've seen a little bit of a lowering of wineries. And it wasn't like that before. It seems like it's more hip, or it's the way things are going in the industry is, breweries are more exciting to the young people. And so I would say that, and I've seen a big uptick there.
Have you seen, actually? Well, speaking of breweries, have you had any non-alcoholic breweries circling around, to as far as that goes?
That's a good question. Not too much that I've seen, although I like to hear about that because, I did see something on that on Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an important category. People are like looking for a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, it's and not only that, they just did the Brewers Association and the National Beer Wholesalers Association just did a year-end closeout. There's on YouTube, you can see their data and everything like that. And it was interesting looking. They look at all the different aspects of the industry, and NA beer is growing at an exponential rate. That used to just be a niche thing, but now there's breweries that are, the bigger brand. And this year's the year where it's really coming out. I mean, the big ones, Sierra Nevada, all those big craft, Sam Adams, they're all coming out with these non-alcoholic beers. And then what's going to happen is, for people like you, they're going to start replicating what's popular in the alcohol section. So I think those milkshakes and those juice driven
beers, yeah,
fruit forward beers, I think you're going to start seeing that. So for somebody like you, I see it as a double opportunity for sure, as far as the industry goes, for the NAs and the regulars. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me something, like in those early days, like obviously it was calling, it was that technology wasn't there like it is today. I can imagine your setup now is very tech focused to cover the entire country, and do how many people do you have? Is the operation complicated?
Yeah. Well, look, my business is founded on a very interesting platform. We structured our company using Hubbard management technology. This was information put together by L. Ron Hubbard, who's the founder of Scientology. But the information he put out was there to also help businesses grow. And look, everything is formulated on organization. We have something called an organizing board. And the organizing board shows that every company, every company or ongoing system goes with this organizing board, and there's 7 divisions. You have the 7th division, which is actually first, is the executive division, where a lot of decisions get made from the owner's perspective and legal things get handled. And Division 1, I'm not going to go through them all, but Division 1 establishes the company and trains the staff. Division 2 is marketing, and Division 3 is treasury and money stuff. 4 is production. 5 is qualification, where you're looking at the product that you produced and you're correcting it, where mistakes are made. And then 6 is reaching out to new people. And then it all starts back again. So this is an organizing board. We only have 11 people working in the company, which to me is not only. It started with just me, and we've grown it to 11. So, but we're all on this organizing board, and we're very focused on producing our product. Each person has a certain product that has to be made in the company. One person's product is a sale made. Another person's product is a product delivered, or a truck delivered, and so on. And every person here has a stat graph, and the slant of the line shows how you're doing. So if the line goes up from one week to the next, if it goes up steeply up, that means you're in affluence. Or if this line goes down and your sales are down, that's danger. Okay, you should do something different if your graph is going down or if your graph is going up. and there are formulas that you apply, right? If the graph goes down, you're in danger. You better change what the heck you're doing. If your graph goes up, you got to find out what you were doing that was successful and bolster it. So these are the different types of steps that we take. That's a small smattering of what we do, but we're very focused on that and, delivering what's promised and doing what's right.
That's a fascinating system and style to go with and philosophy. Is it a how do you communicate that progress in that graph? Is it literally a graph that comes out via email? Is it how does that communicate to the employee, or is it a live feed they can click on? Or they're in the data, I assume.
Well, we have a special program that we all have access to, and we manage our own graphs online. And each week at our staff meeting, we have a Zoom meeting, and we go over the graph. We go over everybody's condition, whether they're in danger or their affluence, or there's names for all the states. And we go over our formulas. What are we going to do this week? What are we going to do to change it? Or what are we going to do to keep it going? And it's very, very stabilizing.
I'd say that's really fascinating. I've not met anybody that has I know about the philosophy and stuff like that in School of Thought, but I had not met anybody yet that implemented it. So
yeah.
Really, that's fascinating, and it does all very much make sense in its key systems. What sort of like whether it's in the beginning or today, after the past 20 plus years, 25 years almost now plus years, what are some of the lessons that, let's say one lesson that you might say is applicable to any industry, and being for starting out? So somebody's starting out and then going through it. Is it sustainability? Is it persistence? Is it naive optimism?
It's pretty simple, actually. The first lesson in any sale you make is being here. Be there and pick up the phone. Be there to answer the phone. Be there to answer an email. I don't know about you, but I get very frustrated these days. I recently had a body problem, and I changed the type of shoes I was wearing, and I had to buy these special these shoes, right? So one company that I was working with, there was no way for me to reach them. No way. I got the shoes, but they didn't fit right. There was a problem with them. And I just wanted to call up and just mention to someone what was going on, but I couldn't do that. Actually, I couldn't even send a real email. I could only send a bot generated email. So that's it. I stopped working with that company, and I started working with the other company that had a chat box with a live person that was talking to me, that was helping me through everything. So you got to be there. You got to be there, and you got to communicate. I mean, I hate to sound so, basic. And you also have to come up with your thoughts. What do you want to have happen? Do you want to expand your business? Do you want to have 50 people working for you? Do you want to make such and such amount of money? Do you want to expand into these areas? Write down your intention. Put your intention on a piece of paper. Write it down so that you're not an effect of your own cause, right? You could be working your ass off every day, and you could be spinning your wheels and not really progressing and getting anywhere. Decide what your goals are, your purposes, your plans, and put them down, and make sure everyone who's working with you is on the same page. Those are the lessons that I can give you, and I can go into way more detail, but that's the basics.
No, how about for work-life balance, Keith? Like where do you what drives your passion outside of the four walls of the office?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I have kids. I have two boys that I dedicated my life to. I had a divorce about 10 years ago, and I became Dad of the Year, basically at that point, giving these kids everything that I possibly could. And between them, my girlfriend, and then also I'm training to be a counselor. So that's my real passion, helping people. And so I don't think anyone's motivation should be money. Money is a low scale motivation. Really, purpose and duty is the things that should be motivating people. That's a greater goal, a greater purpose. So my purpose in life is to help others. And through the business, I've given people jobs where their lives are better. So I get very fulfilled from that. It also, success here affords me the time to do other things that, that I really do want to do in life.
What specific line of counseling are you pursuing with your training?
Well, I'm a Scientologist. Our counseling is called auditing. Basically, you direct a person's attention towards moments of travail in their lives, and it's called auditing because we don't evaluate for the person. Normal therapies, they'll talk to you and say, the problem I see is that you aren't communicating well with your mother, or such and such. They'll give you their advice. We don't do that. We have an actual machine called an e-meter where it measures changes in mass. Basically, it's you hold these cans and it puts a very tiny carrier wave, a tiny bit of electricity through your body. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's just a meter, and there'll be a needle on the dial, and when the person's doing well, the needle is just floating. But when you ask somebody a question and there's an instant reaction on the meter, you've struck something that is bothering the person, and then you ask him about it, and he tells you. And through a very specific process, when he's done telling you and you do exactly what it says, at the end, the needle's floating again and the person feels like a Volkswagen came off their shoulders. But it's only done through listening. The word auditing comes from the Latin word audio, to hear or listen. You never want to tell a person what's wrong with them. You want to listen, and you want to direct their attention to something that's upsetting. And then if you get enough of those floating needles, the person's in extremely good shape. And that's what I do.
Well, now I'm really intrigued, and I wish we had more times. From a big background, this is fascinating to me too as well. All right, so you have from that experiment that you're doing in that project and that exercise, what is it the anxiety and the nervousness of the triggering of that thought that is what's prompting what is it that's prompting that needle to make its move there?
Well, the very basic is a moment of pain and unconsciousness that underpins everything. All moments of pain and unconsciousness are the bottom line, what it is. So if a person is, say, when a person's a kid, he falls down, somebody hits a baseball bat in his head by accident, and he lays on the ground. Well, the major discovery is that there's a part of the mind that's recording, even when the person is wholly or partially unconscious. And everything that's said to him at that time is recorded. So somebody could run up to the kid and say, stay right there. You'll be fine as long as I'm with you. A car could be going by, a honking horn. Okay. Later in life, maybe the person's tired and so forth. He hears a horn honking and all of a sudden he gets a headache. Mm-hmm. Why is he getting a headache? Why is he feeling anxious? He doesn't know. He doesn't remember. It's those memories are hidden, but they kick back. Okay. And everything builds on that. And when you go to the bottom and you discover the thing that's lying at the bottom of it all was when you got hit in the head, all those other things blow and they're gone, and you feel so much better.
And then when you take that, like that essentially PTSD and a lot of that too, we can bring it back to food and beverage too, with the neurogastronomy of what you do. You know what I mean? It's those memories and those core memories and those significant memories of smell and taste and everything like that are what kind of triggers those things through. So with that, I'm paralleling the two things together.
Sure.
What aspect of when you go through this and you bring this through, I'm just intrigued in one sense. Are you a faith-based and Scientology-built business that is integrated through the entire system?
I mean,
is it your personal philosophy that then isn't? I'm saying this in a positive way. I think
sure.
I'm really fascinated because of the fact that I've not heard anybody taking that Scientology into their business organization. That's very intriguing to me.
Yeah. Look, Scientology is a religion.
Yeah.
Why is it a religion? Because it betters the person as a being, as a spirit. L. Ron Hubbard also, in order for Scientology to grow, he had to build organizations. You can't do it yourself. There's billions of people in this world, and everybody needs to coordinate together. So he developed the largest body of management policies that ever existed. And they're there not just to grow the churches, but they were set up so that you could use them to build any business. So these are, what is it, secular or non-secular? The policies are not religious.
Right. Yeah. Secular. Yeah.
They're secular, right? So, and I have a few other Scientologists that work here, but not everybody is. And they're happy to use the information to help grow the business. And if anybody has personal issues and they want to address them, I'm happy to help anybody, but it's not any type of requirement.
And Keith, it's just one of the things is it's my philosophy in life is I'll open myself up a little bit here. Is I'm not atheist, but I'm very much a humanist in the sense, but I've also grabbed the best of everything. So I very much got rocked in high school with a world religion studies course and was just blown away at some of the similarities, some of the complexities, all the different things were out there. So with my statement is completely of an intriguing aspect because of the fact that I'm very naive to Scientology. I do have direct connections to it as those founders were from the same area outside of Philadelphia where they started out. That's the Levittown, Pennsylvania is where I'm from. So that
oh wow,
I'm from the same town and my whole family is from there and stuff like that. So
nice.
It's always been a part of my life as an external thing, and to take it into a business organization is fascinating. And I definitely would love to have some more conversations.
Share with you some data. It's very simple information that any business could be helped.
Yeah, obviously my business is called the FreeMind Group. So one of the you're gonna get a little bit of everything out of me. So
that's actually now I remember why I agreed to do the podcast. I like the name.
And I founded this in 2008, and originally it was to play on the words of my intent was to go in and what I was doing was taking stuff off of executives' plates. So I was in college and I was doing dry cleaning runs. I was doing car wash runs. I was doing whatever executives needed. So it was I'll free your mind. And then also I had the other side of it where, it was very much free your mind and very much my philosophy of life, which is like I said, humanistic kind of thing. It's trying to be as balanced as possible and exposing everything, non-judgmental and inclusiveness and stuff like that. So that's where the name came from. So I appreciate you picking up on that. A lot of it is this really drugged out thing. And it's not really that. It's being open-minded and it's being open to experiences and pivoting. And
great.
And I think,
everybody wants a free mind.
And that's exactly it. And it definitely, let's just say, it definitely in my career and life, it proved very well for me so far. The companies that are very rigid and have yes men in their businesses, we don't really end up jiving too well as client vendor relationships.
Totally understood.
Yeah, people get a lot of transparency from me, and you get a lot of honesty from me, and it's very candid. So
I can see that.
So I won't. I know I promised you 9:05, so I will hold off on that. But I want to just close out with one more thing from you. So we talked about your passions, we talked about the work and everything like that. 2024. What are you changing in the business? What are you elaborating, upgrading? What's any sort of tweaks that are going into 2024, whether good or bad? Yeah.
Well, my stat was slightly down this year, very slight, which I was fairly happy with. It was okay. But in my philosophy, that's called an emergency condition. Why is it an emergency? Because nothing in this world ever stays the same. It either gets better or it gets worse. If it's the same too long, something's going to happen and it's going to get worse. So since this is just about the same, I'm considering an emergency. And the first step in the emergency formula is promote. promote. So I'm starting off this year sending out 3 postcard mailings. I joined up with a company that does postcard mailings because, in this day and age, you get so many emails. I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll give this a try. So it's going to be a lot of marketing, a lot of promotion, and we're also hiring another salesperson. So, look, my goal is to double the business this year. Somebody has to dream it, So there you go.
Absolutely. And there's anything you can stand by as somebody that's been around and been in business for a long time is when things come out of their mouth, it's for real. So I believe it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Keith. Hey, give out your website, your social media handles, everybody that where people can find you and partner with you for juice deals.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to reach out to me, my website is juicedeals.com. It's juice like you drink, deals like let's make a deal with an S at the end.com. There you can sign up to get our weekly hot deals list. You'll see our phone numbers and everything will be on there. Or you can just call me directly at 516-442-2233. And I'm always here to pick up the phone.
Excellent. Keith, thank you so much for sharing your story and your time.
Sure.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Feel free to reach out at any time.
Absolutely. Take care. Have a great day, Keith.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.
You looking for a way to grow your business, reach new customers, and increase your sales? If so, you need the FreeMind Group, founded in 2008 and a provider of creative and strategic solutions for the food and beverage industry. Whether you need branding, marketing, product development, or innovation, the FreeMind Group can help you achieve your goals and unleash your potential. Visit our website at thefreemindgroup.com and get a free consultation today. Thank you for listening and see you next time.